Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, let's take a detailed look at the 2014 Porsche Panamera 4S Executive. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Panamera. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, and go over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior, as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a special thanks and big shout out to Hendrick Porsche, located in Charlotte, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film the newly refreshed 2014 Porsche Panamera 4S Executive. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. This Panamera features a white exterior with the full premium Luxor beige leather interior, plenty of high gloss wood veneer, as well as polished aluminum brightwork. Now, the Panamera does not feature traditional door hinges like you would expect on a vehicle. Most cars have a position like here, here, and here to hold the door in place when you're getting out of a parking space. Well, this has an integrated magnet mechanism located there to where you can hold it at just about any position, making it a lot easier to get in and out of tight parking spaces. Also, if you fail to close the door all the way, there's an electromechanical mechanism that'll automatically pull the door closed. As in traditional Porsche fashion, the ignition cylinder is located to the left of the steering column. To start, all you have to do is just insert the fob, put your foot on the brake, and flip it to the right to go. Simple as that. For 2014, the Panamera now features electric assist, variable ratio, speed proportional, rack and pinion power steering, and a unique 3-spoke full leather-wrapped steering wheel, nice and soft, with heavy bolsters up top here, and your multifunction controls side to side. Now, as far as the gearbox, the Panamera comes standard with Porsche's PDK 7-speed dual-clutch automated manual transmission. Just press the little aluminum accented button up top here and drag it down to drive. You also have manual shiftability if you click it off to the left, push up for up a gear, down for down a gear, or via the aluminum gear selectors mounted on either side of the steering wheel. Once you put the vehicle in reverse, your vehicle's backup camera appears, but not only that, the vehicle has 360-degree stereoscopic cameras so you can see just about every single aspect of the vehicle. Like you see on the left-hand portion, we have your parking sensors as well as the 360-degree cameras activated so you can see all the way around the vehicle. You can change the different view modes via this little button off to the side. So right now, we're in the standard mode, and we have our parking sensors activated. If you wanted to turn those off, just hit that right there. If you wanted just the backup camera on, just tap the section. If you just wanted the stereoscopic cameras, there you go. You can also turn on backup lines that automatically adjust as you turn the wheel. And you also have front and rear split view cameras so you can more easily see into tighter parking spaces. Very simple. With a gear selector that's beautifully accented in polished aluminum, leather, with an aluminum housing, and the PDK script located at the bottom. So we're going to flip on the automatic bi-xenon projector headlamps, fog lamps, LED headlamps are also an option, and the hazards. Naturally, as you'd expect, all 4 windows are fully automatic, with laminated glass for better safety and noise isolation. And we'll go and check out the exterior, shall we? Porsche introduced the radically new Panamera back in 2010. It was the first four-door luxury sport sedan produced by the brand, following similar traditions of the four-door fastback or coupe styling that was originally introduced by the Mercedes CLS and now the Audi A7 and BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe. Although the Panamera has a little bit of an identity all of its own, it features a little bit more of a hatchback wagon style than a four-door coupe. For a brand to be successful in this cutthroat automotive market, many manufacturers have started diversifying their profiles, bringing about all new models that stray from the norm in order to bring in new customers who may have not gravitated in the past. Everyone's done it, from Ferrari's FF to the new SUV concepts from Lamborghini, Maserati, and Bentley, and even lower-priced mainstream sedans like the Maserati Ghibli. Niche market vehicles have been the hot topic lately, and Porsche's Panamera seems to be at the front of that pack. Its controversy stems from how different it was from Porsche's history, but the same was said for the Cayenne when it was introduced. To this day, both the Panamera and the Cayenne are the brand's volume leaders over the 911, Cayman, and Boxster. There's 9 different models and 5 different power plant choices, now including a plug-in hybrid. There's also a huge variety of performance and economy. It blends the performance and excitement you'd expect out of a Porsche, but with a dose of comfort for longer travels. And with a myriad of optional features, colors, and materials, each one can be tailor-made for true uniqueness. For 2014, Panamera gets its first mid-cycle refresh, sticking with the original design while slightly tweaking it and softening a few lines. A new front fascia features larger air inlets, and for the first time, optional LED headlamps are offered. Otherwise, the standard xenon lamps provide ample illumination in a reworked housing. Out back, the rear has also been softened up a bit. The tail lamps are more slender LED units, while the rear hatch has been smoothed with more level glass. Down below, a revised rear diffuser highlights the quad exhaust tips. 2014 also sees the introduction of an all-new long wheelbase model dubbed the Executive. It stretches the rear by about 5.9 inches, where it's directly translated into rear seat room to compete against the likes of the long wheelbase competitors from BMW and Audi. All across the board, the Panamera features power increases for its engines. The S models do receive a new power plant though. The naturally aspirated 4.8-liter V8 is now reserved for GTS models and produces 440 horsepower, while the S and 4S get a new twin-turbocharged V6 derived from Porsche's 3.6-liter, which is based on the V8 in the end, but more on that in a bit. The other biggest piece of news is the new Panamera S E-Hybrid. It features an Audi-sourced 3-liter 333 horsepower supercharged V6 paired to a new electric motor that doubles the output to 95 horsepower with peak overall horsepower ratings of 416. The battery packs are now lithium-ion rather than nickel-metal hydride, with an increase in battery capacity to 9.4 kilowatts versus 1.7. It's now a plug-in hybrid that can deliver approximately 20 miles on full electric charge. It can also reach 83 miles an hour under full electric charge before the engine kicks in. What's unique about it though is that you most often won't even have to plug it in to charge up the battery. It takes about 2.5 hours charging via a 240 volt fast charger, but with the new e-charge mode, the car can actually completely charge itself during normal driving down the road if you're constantly on the go. Porsche claims that there's about a 56% increase in fuel economy with the new plug-in hybrid versus last year's Panamera S-Hybrid. The Panamera 4S comes standard with staggered aluminum alloy wheels measuring 19 by 9 inches in front and 19 by 10 inches in the rear, wrapped in Goodyear performance tires measuring 255/45 in front and 285/40 in the rear. Brakes are 4-wheel ventilated discs with slotted 14.2-inch rotors and 6 piston fixed calipers in front and 13 inches in the rear with 4 piston fixed calipers. The standard setup can bring the standard 4S regular wheelbase to a stop within 109 feet. Carbon ceramic brakes are also an option. As far as the suspension, it's fully independent with double wishbones up front and a multi-link rear with air springs and adaptive dampers. Overall length is 203.4 inches with a width of 76 inches and a height of 56.1 inches. Total curb weight, depending on the options, is around 4,400 pounds. So we'll go ahead and pop the hood. As I mentioned earlier, the new Panamera S and all-wheel drive 4S models feature a new, more efficient power plant replacing the naturally aspirated V8, which is now reserved for the GTS model. It's an all-aluminum dual-overhead cam 24-valve twin-turbocharged 3-liter V6 that shares its origins with the base car's 3.6-liter V6. With dual variable valve timing and direct injection, it puts out 420 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 384 pound-feet of torque between 1,750 and 5,000 RPM. Manufacturer claimed 0 to 60 times are around 4.5 seconds, with quarter-mile times estimated to be around 13.1 seconds and a top speed of 177.7 miles per hour. As far as fuel economy, with a 26.4-gallon tank on required premium fuel, they expect to see a range of around 17 city, 26 highway. Overall, the interior of the new Panamera hasn't changed much, which makes sense because there really wasn't anything wrong with it in the first place. In fact, it set the stage for adapting into the rest of the Porsche family. Build quality is excellent with plentiful amounts of padded trim, variety of wood veneers, and satin aluminum found throughout. The majority of the doors wrapped in stitched padded material, adjustable storage pocket, and all of your power windows, power locks, and power mirrors are located on the doors. Aluminum door handle with your power locks inside and 3-person memory for the driver's seat. The seats are nice and supportive, comfortable sport leather buckets. Feature a nice amount of lateral grip on either side while still keeping the more comfortable aspect of the Panamera. Nice attention to detail with stitching, and the perforations coming up across the middle portions of the seats, which help increase ventilation for the heating and cooling function of the seats. Down below, all of your power adjustments include a power thigh extension and 4-way power lumbar. Side airbags, of course, as well as adjustable seat belts. The aluminum door sill plaques down below indicate the Panamera model, the floor mats are embroidered, and the pedals are accented in aluminum. The steering wheel is full power tilt telescoping, while the dash is all wrapped in a soft, hand-stitched leather. You can also see a lot of the bright polished aluminum work across the dash, really accentuating the overall luxury feel of it. It nicely finished off with a full Alcantara headliner.
So let's get and see how she sounds.
Very smooth, just a little hint of turbo whistle.
Now, the standard Panamera features an 11-speaker, 235-watt audio system, but this particular one's been upgraded with the optional 585-watt, 14-speaker premium Bose surround sound system. Fed through an LCD touchscreen base, multimedia navigation telemetrics interface with standard satellite radio. Beautiful audio quality. Side curtain airbags, the Alcantara lining the A-pillars, and Alcantara lined visors. LED vanity illumination, auto-dimming rearview mirror, and in the top stack, you have your microphone for your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, LED reading lamps, as well as all LED interior illumination, turning off your parking sensors, and 3-position garage home link. In the midst of all of that is your fully automatic power sunroof. Now, the Panamera features an amazing amount of technology, and most of it's laid across the center console. It looks complicated, but it's actually pretty well laid out and cohesive in its function. So as far as the multimedia system, all of the basic controls are located at the bottom here, accented in chrome buttons. If you hit tuner, it'll bring you to your standard satellite radio. Preset stations here, your radio data will be located up top. You can direct tune the station.
There's a little back button down below here, and you'll notice in the different menus as well, through as we go through the different radio menus as well as some other system menus, you'll see a little option tab up there. Well, you can hit that and it'll bring up a little sub-menus for different options pertaining to the specific menu you're in, or there's a little option button right down below there. Regardless of the screen that you're in, if you hit that, it'll automatically go to that option screen, listing your favorite stations there, as well as listing the available stations in the area that you can scroll through. Hit the tuner to go between the FM, AM, and satellite radio, and those are pretty much the basic features of the radio system itself. Media consists of your in-dash CD player, hands-free streaming of audio through your Bluetooth system, auxiliary iPod integration, as well as a hard drive base so you can load up MP3 files. Again, your option tab for a little bit more of an in-depth look, your Bluetooth settings, hands-free telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it, otherwise your off-hook button and your on-hook button so you can answer and hang up phone calls. Through the system you can voice dial, store contacts, and load up your phone book. Your destination input for your navigation, all pretty simple, search points of interest, and your map that features real-time traffic updates. Zoom on in. If you hit the option tab in the nav screen, you can change the different views, 3D terrain, buildings, show your points of interest, and change the layout whether you want to split the screen into several different ways. Down below that, seek and scan, changing the source of the audio system, your sound and equalizer adjustments, trip and fuel data with your compass, again going between the different options. So in a nutshell, those are all the basic features in the Porsche Panamera's multimedia system. Now as we travel down the center console, the Panamera Executive features a fully independent quad-zone electronic climate control system, automatic for all passengers, with independent temperature, zone, as well as fan adjustments for each passenger, which is pretty cool. I'll show the back seat when we get to the back seat portion. You have your temperature here, fan speed, front and rear defrost, syncing both sides, turn your AC on and off, as well as recycling. Up top is the power actuator to operate your rear spoiler manually. The different zone adjustments for either side as well as the automatic mode. There's also 3-stage heated and ventilated seats for all 4 passengers. Your Sport Plus controls like I talked about earlier, as well as your damper firmness, raising and lowering the height of the vehicle, traction control, auto start-stop function when the vehicle comes to a complete stop at a stop sign or a stop light, and activated, it'll momentarily shut the engine off to conserve fuel. As soon as you let your foot off the brake to go ahead and hit the pedal, it'll automatically reignite so there wouldn't be a lag in power and you can just seamlessly go on your way. Your power rear sunshade control is located there as well. Lighter and ashtray, cup holder, the leather lines the center console going all the way to the back seat. With a full center console lined in felt, good amount of storage. There's a 12-volt power outlet, USB, and your auxiliary input, as you can see. You can also use this little wheel to scroll through the system. If you didn't want to try to hit the touch screen, especially while driving, you can hit down when you hit a particular option. Same thing goes for the source, going through the different options. As far as the steering wheel, it has your radio controls, as well as your hands-free telephone controls and voice commands. And off to the far right in this little wheel, it controls the driver information system, right now taken up by the navigation as you can see on the right. The PDK indicator here, displaying whether you're in Sport, Sport Plus mode, and if you're going to be in launch control. The driver info system is pretty cool, controlled by this little wheel here. You just scroll through the different options, press down for enter, and then go in between the different sub-menus, and there's a little back button right here. So you have your trip and fuel data, telephone, navigation, destination input, radio, vehicle diagnostics, advanced cruise control, the Sport Chrono Pack located up in the dash there where you can set lap timers and the like. You can stop, continue it, reset it, and then if you exit it, it'll go back to your clock. And your tire pressure monitoring system, and then back to trip. Very simple to use. And it's a wonderful gauge cluster accented in black rings with a full set of comprehensive gauges and your tachometer located front and center, digitalized speedometer located down below, adaptive cruise located down below, your parking lights, high beams, and turn signals, as well as your automatic wipers. Alrighty. So we can shut her down. And the steering wheel and seat automatically go back to its exit position to aid ingress and egress. And it'll automatically go back to your memory setting once you start the vehicle. So, let's go and check out the back seat. Now, as I touched on earlier, the biggest change for 2014 Panamera models is the addition of the executive long wheelbase body style. It's really where it gets interesting. There's around 5.9 inches of extra legroom back here, as I mentioned earlier, with the seats having power adjustment. It features a nice low seating position, which is different from what you would typically see in this class, keeping the low-slung, sporty feeling reminding the rear seat occupants they are indeed in a more sporty-themed vehicle than your typical luxury sedan. The wonderful build quality also extends to the rear with optional power sunshades across the doors. The larger rear doors help aid entry and exit into the very spacious rear cabin. The seats are actually styled to actually hold you in like bucket seats like you would find in the front. Executive models also get unique aluminum door sill plaques down below for the respective model like I touched on earlier, and what's also cool is these seats are powered. There's a power thigh extender, 4-way power lumbar, and power recline. Now Porsche chose not to go in the full adjustment multi-contour direction like you would see in a Mercedes S-Class or even a BMW 7 Series, but what you get is a nice comparable vehicle and actually has the same adjustment on the passenger side that allows you to fold the passenger seat up forward if you needed a little bit more legroom. Pretty typical for this vehicle class. The seats are actually really comfortable. Super soft bolsters greet you when you come in, and it definitely hugs you in like a bucket seat. Across the center console you have a host of electronic controls. One being is the fully independent climate control out back. Like I said, the Panamera Executive is a quad-zone climate-controlled vehicle with full independent adjustment for each passenger. So, you have your temperature for both sides, as well as the fan speed, different zones, and one-touch automatic for both sides. You have 3-stage heated, as well as ventilated seating for both the passengers, and 2 cup holders. Little integrated ashtray. Now the controls up here, you can control the door locks, as well as the power rear sunshade. AC max, as well as syncing both sides. And right here are a couple features that are common to these long wheelbase cars, and that's the ability to move the passenger seat forward from the back seat. So if you had somebody sitting back here like in a chauffeur situation and you wanted to stretch out a little bit more, you would just hit these buttons right here. This one reclines the seat, or raises it forward, and this one right here slides it. The leather also trails onto the rear. You have a little storage compartment located in felt. Not to mention a little pocket down there. Your air vents located in the B pillar with a coat hook. Secondary coat hook up across the back. Your LED rear reading lights. Main illumination up top. And little vanity mirrors, also accented in LEDs. Side curtain airbag for the rear, of course. And what's pretty neat about these seats as well, BMW and Mercedes have this thing where you can adjust the back headrest by just pulling them together so you can kind of cradle your head. For the Panamera, this is actually built in, so you'd already have the support from the get-go. There's also plentiful amounts of storage with a console back here, as well as up top. It's definitely a cool way to travel if you ask me. Something a little bit different from your traditional long wheelbase luxury sedan. And we're going to check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? The Panamera comes standard with a full power liftgate. Open it up and you find around 15.7 cubic feet of cargo space with all the seats up. There's also privacy covers, side storage pockets, and an aluminum entry guard. All you have to do to fold the back seats is press the button and fold them forward. And they go nearly flat, opening up cargo space for the back. Fold the seats down and it expands to a whopping 44.6 cubic feet of cargo space. Underneath the rear storage tray, there's also the amplifier for the audio system and your roadside assistance kit. Memory seats, 3-position for the passenger seat, as well as all of the same power adjustments that you find on the driver's seat. Hidden in the polished aluminum panel is a set of 2 cup holders, and a full padded leather glove box that's also lockable. LED lit, lined in felt, and a good amount of space. For the 2014 refresh, the Panamera is evolving to make it a more appealing vehicle that caters to a wide variety of buyers. Whether you're going the green route with the E-Assist hybrid model, or even the all-out Turbo and Future Turbo S, there's bound to be a Panamera for everyone to fit just about any need. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the newly refreshed 2014 Porsche Panamera 4S Executive. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.